Hi there, and thank you for watching today as we explore success factors in migrating Oracle ERP to a modernized cloud environment. My name is Dusty Knight. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Alliances here at Apps Associates, and I'll be hosting today's session as we dive into real-life learnings from moving an Oracle EBS environment to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Platform. I'm excited today to be joined by two gentlemen, Matt Higgins from Avail Infrastructure Solutions, and Mihir Patel, who is a colleague of mine here at Apps Associates. Gentlemen, welcome, and thank you for your time today as well. Matt, let's start with you. If we could give us a little introduction on yourself and Avail Infrastructure Solutions, that would be wonderful.
Sure. As Dusty mentioned, my name is Matt Higgins. I'm the CIO for Avail Infrastructure Solutions. Avail's a company that was formed from units of another company called AZZ in October of 2022. Our primary businesses are around industrial welding and supplying large-scale electrical components to utilities and similar type companies.
Excellent. And Mihir, you want to give us a little bit of introduction to yourself?
Yeah, I'm the VP of Global Client Partners here at Apps Associates, of which I have strategic accounts, Avail being one of them, who we'll be speaking with today.
Fantastic. So Mihir, you and I have been working a lot together over the last couple of years, and we've seen a real acceleration of workloads going to the cloud. So what do you think are some of the key market forces that are really driving enterprises to now look at moving Oracle ERP to infrastructure?
Yeah, so it's really aging hardware infrastructure, speed and agility, right? It's time to value. Customers are, think about how buying physical hardware infrastructure and getting it staged, deployed, wired up, pipe power cooling, all of those activities, tasks that are needed, right? The agility, right, that you get by moving to public cloud infrastructure. So all those things factor in, and then cost, right? Especially with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, customers get an advantage of phenomenal price performance, but not only that, also taking advantage of Oracle support rewards for every dollar that they consume on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So it's really driving the cost of not only infrastructure down, but also the existing software assets and support that goes along with that technology software from Oracle as a result of running on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So seeing those types of things kind of all mesh together that are allowing customers to rethink their strategy on adopting cloud infrastructure first as part of their overall digital transformation journey.
Yeah, no, we've definitely seen all of those at some point in time, right? So Matt, what does any of that resonate with you? Were any of those some of the things that Avail was thinking about as you migrated to the cloud?
Yeah, cost was one of the big considerations for us, but we were in a little bit of a unique situation. As I mentioned, we were kind of spun out of an existing company, and they already had Oracle infrastructure in place on site in their data center. As a new company, we were faced with a choice of either establishing our own infrastructure to move our version of the applications onto, or going to the cloud. So it was almost a net new decision for us instead of a migration, if you will. And it was, frankly, I don't want to be in the server business to start with. So the appeal of moving to a cloud solution instead of standing up our own servers and trying to migrate was pretty significant. And I think as part of the migration process, having a team like Apps Associates was really pretty critical to us, because even in the introductory calls, Mihir was telling us what to expect from Oracle. He helped with the initial sizing so that we could figure out what exactly we were going to need for our environment. And I'll say after a year after being in there, it was almost exactly right. So I think that was part of it for us, is having confidence that we had a good partner, and having the cost advantage of moving to cloud was really what pushed us in that direction.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And definitely, we definitely appreciate your partnership through this. Mihir, let's come back to you. So what are some of the strategic benefits that you're seeing organizations be able to to harvest as a result of some of these migrations of ERP to the cloud?
Yeah, so the key advantages I see that customers get to adopt is, obviously the immediate benefit of price, performance, et cetera, just simply running there, right? But that's phase one. Now what, right? Like, what do you do now that it's running there, right? It's allowing customers to then take that data and put in analytics capabilities, and AI is a big thing, right? So customers are starting to ask and look at that with the Oracle ERP platforms and all that data residing on a cloud-based platform like Oracle Cloud Infrastructure allows them to adopt and integrate and think about how to accelerate their business value in these new technologies that are emerging, which they probably couldn't do at the speed and velocity if they were on terrestrial infrastructure, right? Just trying to look at the network latency between on-prem and cloud, those types of things, right? Just allowing them to evaluate how they're leveraging these new and emerging technologies quickly, so that they're able to stay ahead of the competition and not fall behind.
Yeah, yeah. So Matt, is that kind of consistent with your expectations and results over time at Avail?
We're not quite there where Mihir is talking about going yet, but I think we've seen a couple of benefits already. The first one being the flexibility of being able to up and down what we're doing. We needed some additional environments. We were able to have those within a day or two, right? And depending on if you're running your own data center, what your capacity is, you may or may not be able to do that, but that's not really a constraint with us when we want to add additional environments. Really, cost becomes the only constraint that we have to deal with, not the actual physical logistics of doing all of that. And I'd say the other thing that's nice about having our Oracle apps in the cloud is that we're not reliant on local infrastructure on the network side either. And I'll just give you an example. One of our main sites, we had a firewall go bad, and we had 2 days without good communication in and out of that site. We had some workarounds, but if that was where we'd happen to be hosting our Oracle infrastructure, our entire company would have been down for a couple of days, as opposed to a limited impact for users at one facility. So I think those things, really, the flexibility of having it out there in the cloud, being able to access securely from anywhere, and being able to kind of go up and down with your environments without having to worry about what your actual hardware is really the things that we've seen big strategic benefits for us.
Yep. No, we definitely hear flexibility quite often. I know any project there's going to be some barriers, some challenges. Did you experience any during this process, Matt?
Probably the biggest one, we did have one security concern when we were first standing up, specifically related to our external facing applications, some of our self-service applications, that did take us a while to resolve. And it was working with our internal team, the Apps Associates DBAs, the OCI team, and our security software team that we have with Oracle as well. But I think that's kind of a one-off that was unique for us, and we were trying some new things, and we had a little bit of an issue there that did take some time to resolve. But again, when you're dealing with the group that we were dealing with, you got a lot of experts who can chase those things down, even when they're complicated and take some time. I had all the faith that we'd eventually get there. Whereas, if you're building that out yourself and you have one of those problems, now maybe you're getting consultants and you're running the clock on hourly consultant fees for somebody who's sitting there trying to figure it out for you. So as much as that was a problem that we had as a part of our migration, it was also one that was better solved because we were migrating to the cloud and not doing something on-prem.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, in today's world, right, security is a big question and big issue with all environments. So Mihir, what other barriers or challenges have you seen some other customers encounter? What should folks be thinking about and planning for?
Well, I think Matt alluded to it, right? Licensing was, I think, a key one for us, right? Like when we were advising and guiding Matt and team, right? We wanted to make sure that the they optimized their license assignment as well as incremental license purchases from Oracle, and they were able to do that and do it in a cost-effective manner, not have to oversubscribe on Oracle licenses if they went to some other solutions or on-prem, for instance. And we were able to do that, and as Matt alluded, right, like we were able to scale. We have that flexibility to spin up additional environments and things like that, and not worry about licensing. So I think licensing was a key one. Ability to save money on those licenses on an ongoing perpetual basis with support rewards and things like that to help optimize their costs, if you will, was another one. And then I think the overall just cost of the solution of OCI relative to the other solutions we evaluated was also a key element of that. Agreement or?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, we often hear the cost with OCI as being a real competitive advantage there, as well as the support rewards. So for anyone listening to this today, definitely talk to us about support rewards and how we're able to use those within your environment. Here, let's stay with you. So, what are the successful enterprises doing? We'll say from like an operational or organizational perspective to accelerate the effectiveness of these type of migrations?
So we've come out, partnered with a lot of companies at different stages in their adoption of I'm going to call it cloud infrastructure, right? With Matt and them, fortunately, right, they understood the value of, hey, let's partner with Apps Associates and leverage their expertise to accelerate that speed to value, right? There's a separation agreement and timing and things like that come into play with a divestiture and whatnot. And we've also been brought in by other customers that in a rescue effort and whatnot, right? So what we find is that trying to do these types of adoptions and transformations, it's probably a good idea to have somebody who's been there, done that. So that you don't fall into the pitfalls of, hey, having to figure it out for the first time, because we've done hundreds of these, whereas certain companies and stuff, where this is their first and probably only migration or adoption in, right, once they've migrated. So having that co-pilot partner that can assist and accelerate that speed to value so that you can get to the benefits of support rewards, the security, the price performance, et cetera, and focus on your business is a key element, in my opinion.
Yeah. So Matt, I know you were introduced to Apps Associates through our relationship with AZZ, but ultimately you had to make the decision to use Apps Associates. What kind of led you in that direction?
I think initially it was there were a couple of factors. One was the competency of the people that I talked to. So on the phone with Apps Associates DBAs, understanding how they were managing the environment kind of in the today world before we moved in AZZ's environment, and what some of the concerns they felt we would have with moving our particular database to OCI. And then, as I mentioned earlier, talking with Mihir and some of the folks on his team who are not DBAs, but understood Oracle and have relationships with people inside of Oracle and inside of OCI, and really were able to help facilitate that entire process. I'd say for the most part, I talked to Apps Associates. I didn't have to talk to OCI, right? The contractual stuff, obviously, we went through with Oracle. But any of the details on setting up OCI, or you need to do this in the environment in order for us to be able to migrate, any of those details, the Apps Associates team completely handled for us, and I got that message pretty clearly from our initial conversations, and it definitely proved out as we went through the process. So that's what I made the call on, and for me at least, it was very successful. So I'm pretty happy with the decision.
Great. Mihir, let's bounce back to you. So we know executives, they're always looking to quantify a move, to quantify the impacts, the business performance. What type of metrics are you seeing organizations look at as they pursue these kind of transformations within their modernization process?
Yeah, like I think efficiency is the key one, right? Like everybody's trying to do more with less. What efficiencies can I gain as a result of doing these types of transformations? So that's one of the key metrics, right? With any cloud adoption that we're doing, right? It's uh, what efficiencies can I gain? Where can I save money, et cetera. But it's really about setting the business up for future scale growth and success. So in terms of how do I measure that, it's really around the efficiencies, right? We want the customers really wanting to focus on um, their core business versus having to worry about, hey, do I have enough storage capacity? Do I have enough bits and bytes? And, like, is it going to cost me an arm and a leg? Not only in buying a new server, but all the stuff that goes with that, right? The software, et cetera, setting it up, the people, right? So the people, process, and technology aspects are the key metrics that we always, or barriers that or elements that we look at. But it's really how do we optimize each one along the way, and cloud allows us to, in my opinion, demonstrate that value in terms of, hey, you want a new server, 5 minutes will launch it, right? In a very cost-effective manner. Oh, hey, our storage is growing at this clip. We're easily able to forecast that cost and relay that to Matt and team and be like, okay, this is what you can expect that cost to go. Here's why it went up, right? We did these things, your cost, but it's not having to buy an entire storage array now because I need another terabyte or I need a temporary environment to support a project. So, Matt.
Yeah, I think the key there is it's all the cost is incremental cost at the margin, right? It's not a step function like it is when you own your own servers and your own storage and everything else, right? Is I need something, I need the, well, it's going to take this much more storage, it's going to take this much more memory, whatever it may be, and I know what the price of that's going to be, and it's not going to be $50,000 to go buy a new server and a new storage array.
Yeah, and it's not, and the beautiful thing about Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, we don't even have to increase the CPU or OCPU capacity. We can simply add more memory if we want, based on how OCI allows us to leverage the flex shapes and stuff. So we don't have to like jump from one server type to another server type. We can literally dial it in terms of, hey, I just need a little bit more memory. I don't have to double my capacity to be able to do that, right? I can literally dial it in. It's like, hey, we're adding a new business unit in, et cetera, and we're able to just increment the memory and things like that. Same OCPU capacity, but able to dial in the memory to be able to give that extra boost and support that the business needs. So without having to buy a brand new box or bigger VM shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
And probably just a couple more things, Dusty, to add in terms of performance. We don't have any true metrics because the before was when we were still part of AZZ. It was a much larger database. It was hosted in their data center. The after is a smaller database in OCI. But anecdotally, as we made that transition, I had a number of end users who came up to me and asked what we had done because the speed of the applications was noticeably faster. And we've really, we hadn't done any, we were hoping we weren't going to lose performance, but we actually gained a little bit there, at least enough that users noticed, right? So that was a really good bonus for us as part of this process.
Nice. Yeah, that's good to mention. That's it. One final question, Matt. As CIO there at Avail, are there some like technology management or leadership principles that you can point folks towards to be able to maximize the odds of success of a project like this?
Yeah, I think, I've hit on it a couple times already, and I know it sounds like I'm doing a commercial for apps, but really you have to find the right partner for this. And for us, apps was absolutely the right partner. And I'd say going down a level, having a project manager that is familiar with this and has the right tool set, not necessarily a technical tool set, but project management tool set. Our specific project manager, as we went through the transition, was fantastic. She kept everybody up to date on what was going on. She was after 20 different individuals between Avail and apps who were doing different things as part of this project. She was after them when things got hours behind, let alone days behind, which was important because we were on a very aggressive timeline. I won't say how aggressive because Mihir doesn't want me to set that bar for the rest of your customers.
Thank you.
But it would not have been possible to do what we did as fast as we did without a team that knew Oracle, that knew OCI, and a project manager who really knew how to make sure you didn't get behind on a project like this.
Yeah, it was an aggressive timeline for sure. Mihir, let's go to you. Any closing thoughts, final comments today before we wrap up here?
Yeah, no, I mean, so it wasn't a done deal for us, right? Like when we looked at AZZ, they're long-term customer of ours. When we approached Matt and team, we didn't be like, oh, this is ours. We're gonna, you know, we don't need to compete for it, in my opinion. And in my mind, I didn't view it that way, right? So from our perspective, we always showed Matt and them, you know, here's OCI, here are the other hyperscaler options, here's why we are recommending OCI for you, etc. Obviously, we can always toot our own horn and say, hey, we're the best, and you should select us. But I never took it for granted that, hey, because they were divesting from AZZ, who we've got a long-term relationship with, that Avail was going to by default de facto select us, right? I wanted to make sure that we were demonstrating the value along the way of not only Oracle's cloud, but the other options that they could have entertained and selected, and why what we recommended to them was what we were recommending along the way, trying to earn Matt's trust to make sure that, hey, we got you, right? Like whether it was with the licensing advice or even which hyperscaler to select for, where we felt that their business was going to go in the future, and ensuring that they were set up for success from day one. So at least that was my intention and my goal. Hopefully we accomplished that, Matt, but I'll let you comment on that on the last word.
Yeah, Matt, anything to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would just say that, we are almost a year in at this point, and I may have mentioned this already, but the budget's been completely in line with what we expected, right? So we've been over there for a while now and have not had any surprises. And the support that we've gotten from Apps Associates has been outstanding, and I'd say even better than expected, and I had pretty high expectations.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you both. Matt, can't thank you enough for your partnership here with this project and an ongoing relationship that we have with you and your team. Mihir, thank you for your leadership that you bring to Apps Associates every day. I think we had a great discussion here today, guys, and really appreciate it. So thank you all for watching, for spending a little bit of time with us, and please reach out if you have any other questions for us. Thank you, and we'll talk soon.